Gil Oved, Group Co-CEO from the Creative Counsel. Welcome to the Red Zone.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Now, Gil, you say that the world of promotions has changed from a very crude, or from using very crude and basic promotional techniques to a highly sophisticated industry that specifically focuses on mass personalization to the individual through one-on-one engagements. Can you explain this in a little bit more detail for us?
Did I really say that? Sounds complicated. I think when we started in this industry, it was very primitive. This was 12 years ago. And in those days, you had what we call the Blue Rinse Brigade offering you toothpick samples and stuff like that. It was very crude. It was the thing that people thought about last as marketing brand managers. You know, if they had a bit of spare budget, they'd throw it there. Now, 12 years later, it's a big part of any marketing budget and marketing focus. And a big part of it is because technology has enabled us to create real amazing experiences. And so it's progressed as the focus has shifted away from traditional above-the-line TV, radio, print, billboard towards these kind of mass personalization kind of techniques where you can really tailor a message to individuals. The best way of doing that is by having humans on the ground using technology to do this.
But surely there are still some existing negative connotations when it comes to the whole promotional world. Yeah. What are you doing to shift this view? Yeah.
So, I mean, as with anything, there's always legacy issues, especially because for so many years, it was the dirty stepchild. It's quite funny. There's some companies who still call what we do, and when we get our briefs, they call it ISLs, in-store ladies. Like just a crazy notion. It's just advanced so much. But I think the biggest problem is that a lot of the educational institutions haven't kept up with the times. So it's very difficult to start training a brand manager who's never learned about activations, even though it's now commanding 20-25% of one's budget. They don't know how to brief. They don't know what are the key success factors. They don't know how far you could stretch it. So we've got a big job to do. And as market leaders, we're focusing a lot on educating brand managers, and how we do that is by exposing them to a lot of case studies all the time. So whilst we have to show them what we do ourselves, we also have to focus on where the industry is going and teaching brand managers what they could do and how amazing the world of activations could be.
Now you talk about education of brand managers and the advancement of the promotional sphere. Yeah. You've also mentioned something called augmented reality, where there's a merge between on-the-ground an on-the-ground experience with a digital experience. Yes. Do you have a real-life case study you can share with us on where this has worked for one of your clients?
Yeah, sure. So, okay, so firstly, augmented reality, as is known traditionally, is really quite different from what I'm referring to as augmented reality. And I just want to make a quick distinction. So, augmented reality is this understanding that when we're living in today's times, our reality can be augmented with the use of technology to create much richer experiences. My version of augmented reality is specifically in relation to activations and experiences, and where we believe activations are going, where this industry is going, is this very exciting sphere where, because of your mobile device, it's not a phone, it's a device that, by the way, allows you to connect using voice, but really that's one small part of what the device is. But because of this device, because of things like Google Glasses, because of Samsung's new watch, these kind of things mean that when you're standing on the ground and having on-the-ground activation experiences, your experience can be augmented using incredible technology. And for us, that space is very exciting. It means that we could do amazing things, like, for example, something we did for Peugeot's launch of the Peugeot 208, where they wanted people to experience the car on the ground. They wanted people to understand the features inside the car, and they wanted them to also have a social media experience, and we merged it. And what we did was we installed a Facebook camera, live streaming using a GoPro inside the car. And we had a celebrity drive around in this car and ask people who were watching Facebook to tell him in real time where he should go, what he should do. Should he kiss the girl? Should he jump off the Soweto Tower? Should he eat Steers or KFC? And that is an example of a real augmented reality where people experiencing it, they knew he was coming to Parkhurst, they would flag him down and run into the car and get on Facebook. So those kind of examples, and there are many of those. In South Africa, we're trying to pioneer it, but there's a long way to go. Guys overseas are doing incredible things.
So this Peugeot campaign obviously has a big focus on the creative aspects and a bit more of an exciting play on the traditional promotional sphere. But how did you make sure that there was measurability and you could actually prove that the client for X amount of money was getting a return on spend on this?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really critical point, and I'm glad you asked that question, because all too often, even now, even at a time when the economy is weak, at a time when every rand that you spend matters, even now, creativity is seen to be devoid from commercial reasoning. And it often boggles my mind, and how that's still permitted in big blue chip companies, clients that we service. How that is permitted just confounds me. But I think it's changing. And the focus must be on brilliant creativity, but at the same time executional excellence and real measurability, real return on investment, real commercial reasoning. So, to answer your question regarding Peugeot, our focus was on ensuring that people ask for demo drives. And that's really what it comes down to. And we created mechanisms on the sites and on the ground for us to generate leads. So that happened. And in fact, as a follow-on to that campaign, one of the things that we said, the next part of that campaign, was having the celebrity say to viewers, if you want me to give you a lift somewhere, let me know and I'll do it. And in so doing, they got to experience the car on the ground. And it was incredible. People were like, working at KPMG saying, listen, I've got to get to a meeting. Can you come pick me up? And they obviously tweeted and Facebooked and it went viral because all of these guys are having the most incredible experiences. But at the same time, we achieved our objective of getting them to experience the car. And we actually had great car sales at the end of the day, which is really the end result.
That's always what you want. Gil, thank you very much for joining us.